Hello everyone, welcome to part 34 on next stream of Final Fantasy 14. I'm joined with the usual suspects, but you can't hear them. But they are the usual suspects, you can't hear them, but they are here in spirit. Yeah, Patty Poos is here in spirit as well. We're going to undertake some more of the fun-filled adventures on this extensively large online multiplayer RPG. We're going to do it up until we face off against Ramuh, who is the first half of the Defenders of Eorzea, which was patch 2.3. So, without further ado, let's talk to Minfilia, who's standing here behind me, ready to delve us with more information, also on the tragic destruction of the students of Baldessian who got ultimate. That's a damn shame. Anyway, Minfilia, the Great Divide. Our friends, the very R itself, everyone and everything. No, it avails us not to speculate, or Andre will say a word if there's any developments. Until such time as he does, we must remain firmly focused on which is within our power to change. With that in mind, I would speak of a different matter, one closer to home. It concerns etheric fluctuations which were previously attributed to good King Mughal Mog XII. That king is no more is a blessing for which we have you to thank. Yet all is not well in the Twelvewood. Our latest readings reveal our ongoing etheric disturbance of considerable magnitude, if they may even suggest the presence of a primal. Needless to say, there is possibility warranting immediate investigation. I would have you. So, I do not wish to interrupt, but we have a problem. What manner of problem? A band of refugees hailing from Mudar this time has come to Rembrandt's toll seeking the sun. It would seem they expect us to afford the same treatment we gave to Domans. At present they are in the 7th heaven, awaiting a formal response. I see. Mayhap this was to be expected. I shall meet with them at once. Escala, you know full well we have the resources to accommodate many more people. Consider that what will happen if you do this. Word will spread and more will follow. Your opinion is duly noted, but I will hear their suit. Mino, I would be grateful for your presence at this meeting. Well, that's the problem. You help one, and then you get more. I'm not all for I'm all for helping people, but you have to draw the line at some point. Don't you agree? No? Okay. Draggled-tailed refugee. I apologize for keeping you waiting. My name is Minfilia and I lead the Scions of the 7th Dawn. 12 be praised. It is you. We are ready and willing to work. Same as the Domans. Just give us a task and we'll see it done. Pray calm yourselves. Appreciate your enthusiasm, but I have no knowledge of your situation. Beg your pardon, Decadence. I ain't so good with words. We've been living off scraps in Rudar for years now, trying to piece together a life to replace the one that got took. They say there's work, but there's naught for the honest man. Naught as we wouldn't study a soul sooner than his palms any road. The flames do what they can for us, but of course it ain't near enough. And what ends getting worse. When the calamity brought us to our knees, the rich bastards in the city didn't help us up. They climbed on our backs. I don't pretend to be clever, but even I can see what's coming. We knew we had to run. The only question is where. And then it came to me, Reverend Toll. I mean, you took in those foreigners, didn't you? So you surely did the same for us. I fear the situation is rather more complicated. While it is true that we accepted the Daemon's petition for aid, the decision was the product of extraordinary circumstances. I sympathise deeply with your plight, but pray understand that it is not possible for an organisation of our means to aid all that we have been affected by the calamity. And so it is with great regret I must deny your request. But we got nowhere to go. You're turning your back on us? If I might have a word. Tataru, is aught amiss? Ill tidings from Udar, my lady. Alphino has been wounded. What? How? Is it serious? I cannot say for certain, but I fear it might be. According to the flames, the refugees started a riot. They went wild, apparently, lashing out at any and everyone. That can't be right. Why would they? They must have been provoked. Demonstrations were meant to be peaceful. Seven hells, now the blades have an excuse. They'll round us up and kill anyone who tries to resist. Academic, please, if you won't help us build a new life, at least help us keep the ones we've got. My lady? We're not the ones to stand idly by and watch innocents suffer. However, until we know more of the circumstances around this right, I am not certain what aid, if any, we can provide. If the authorities determine that the refugees attacked without provocation, then those responsible have to answer for their actions. How can you be so blind? Find Alphino quickly. If he is in danger or worse, I would have you and none other. I'll have you and none other by his side. Thank you. Pray do not concern yourself with the matters we were discussing earlier. Yida and Papanimo will see to it. Alphino is being treated in the hourglass. Hurry, Mino. It sucks to be you guys. No, I don't want to visit another world. Dumbass. Come, trust my trusty carbuncle. Alphino. If somebody who's been attacked, you look well.
Come, you must have gathered by now that Tataru is given to exaggeration. As you can see, I am quite well. Ul'dah, on the other hand, is not. This riot was anything but an isolated incident. There is a restlessness in the air. Tensions long simmering are at last threatening to boil over. Ul'dah is a nation infamous for the great disparity between the wealthy and the poor. The majority of the populace accepts this state of affairs because they believe that every man bears responsibility for his own lot in life. To an Ul'dah, money is the foremost. and some would say the only measure of a man's worth. Small wonder that the wealthiest wield the greatest influence. So where do the refugees fit into this social hierarchy? What place is there for those who fled Alamigo and the destruction of the Calamity? Plainly, there is none. They have no wealth, no power, and no worth. To the Ul'Dan way of thinking, they may as well not exist. Choosing to ignore their existence, however, is patently not an option. General Rauban and the Sultana understand this, which is why they ordered the Immortal Flames to provide the refugees aid and succor. Yet none would dispute that the expenses incurred by this policy grow by the day, with no end in sight. This has prompted more and more Uldans to question their obligation to aid these worthless wanderers, while more and more refugees have come to resent their treatment at the hands of the sneering citizenry. The manner of Lord Lolorito's refusal to grant the Dolmens asylum bespoke a disdain for all refugees, an attitude shared by the rest of the monetarists. And you may be sure they make no effort to conceal their opinions. It was only a matter of time before the refugees united in protest, nor is it any surprise that some among them would ultimately resort to violence. That the Immortal Flames should choose this of all occasions to engage in joint training exercises with the other Grand Companies. By the time they return, the situation may well have deteriorated beyond mending.
Desperate times. As I told you before, this is all but inevitable that an incident of this kind would eventually occur, given the right intentions within the Sultanate. Nevertheless, I have reason to believe that this particular riot may not have been spontaneous. I have piqued your curiosity. Good. Then we will accompany me to the Hall of Flames. I would hear what General Raban has to say upon the matter. Boing, boing. Hi, General. No, it's not a good time, I know. My hands are full dealing with the refugees. Precisely the matter we wish to discuss, General. Alphino, back on your feet already? You may credit my swift recovery to your Kurgans. My memories of the riot are still somewhat muddled. I trust you managed to regain control of the situation? Not entirely. We secured the city soon enough, but not before an unrest and spread of surrounding territories. Pockets of resistance remain throughout Farmland. We have sent what forces we can spare to root out the last of the belligerents. Progress is slow. They are demandingly elusive. Well, I can well imagine, given the majority of refugees live outside the walls, it stands to reason that they would know the lay of the land. What I do not understand is how they came to be so well prepared. Before my little accident, I observed that several refugees were armed, but not with butcher knives or pitchforks, but with martial weaponry. I need hardly add that such equipment is costly. None can deny that tensions between Uldar and the citizenry and the refugee population is increasing, so the Domans were turned away. But would that motivate a starving man to purchase arms in lieu of food? I think not. And what of those who have not even a single guild to spend? Who could not survive without an aid provided by who could not survive without the aid provided by the immortal flames? Surely they would sooner sell a weapon than bring it to bear against their benefactors. Come to the point. Very well. My point, General, is that this powder keg of discontent is not set alight by chance. The events were deliberately set in motion, and now the order must be restored. That's my first duty. Until it's done, any investigation can wait. I do not have time to discuss this. My scouts will be returning anon. The General is no fool. He keeps his own counsel, and with good cause. Were he to claim without the necessary proof that the riots were instigated by the outside forces, the monarchists would accuse him of attempting to shirk responsibility. After all, he and the Sultana have been their most outspoken proponents of refugee aid. Regardless, they will face harsh criticism in the days ahead. Our allies may stumble upon the truth in time, but far more faith in your abilities, Mino. Therefore, I propose we conduct our own investigation independent of the authorities. To that end, I would have you make inquiries in the settlements that are suspected of harbouring belligerents. Commander Swift will know which they are. He may balk at the request of such information, but I have no doubt you can persuade him with your silver tongue. I meanwhile shall seek answers of my own way, after which we can regroup and share our findings. Or then, shall we? Toodles, biatch. Right. Commander Swift. Do you look as though you have something to say, Mino? Do you? Yeah. If it was this might be Taylor Swift. If she was a man wearing a city hat. Taylor Swift. What you ask is no simple favour. Were such information to fall into the wrong hands, the lives of countless soldiers would be at risk. Even so, there's a wisdom in your words. An able individual may be better suited to this task than a regiment. Very well, the brass blades have reported suspicious activity in the vicinity of Lost Hope. It may be unrelated to recent events, but we doubt it. I suggest you begin by speaking with the blades posted there. A place called Lost Hope. Well, that sounds like a real and fantastic place to piss and live. Emotion here. Friend of the Sultanate, are we? I take it that means someone has read my report. Refugees who left with the merchants have yet to return, and I am increasingly concerned that Shashkawaka suspicions were correct. You haven't heard rugged as to what I'm talking about, do you? Never mind. Speak with Shashkawaka, he'll explain everything. And what brings you here, adventurer? in search of refugees, well then you've come to the right place. And you mean those refugees? Oh, no. You won't find them here. Most of the people have lost hope, have come to accept the situation, and are content with their past their days in peace and quiet. Outsiders have trouble understanding that, like that merchant who passed through recently. Courageous fellow, but awfully opinionated. Gregarious. Oh yeah, gregarious. I can say I was sad to see him go. Don't hurt me. I'm not one of them. I beg your pardon. You're not a flame, I see. If Lorfric bid you speak with me, then I take it you agreed to help. 12 be praised for that, because we haven't a moment to waste. Everyone knows the flames are on the march. The others have fallen under the fanatic's spell, but not I. Promises of revolution and retribution of holding the ruling caste to account and taking what that which is owed. Ha! Childish fantasy. I did everything I could to dissuade the others from leaving, but few would heed my words. Now one of our idealists have returned, however. The madness of the merchant's plan is in pain to see. Look beyond yonder tent and you will understand why. Even now he babbles incoherently, so traumatized is he by the bloodshed he witnessed. Try as I might, I can make little sense of his words beyond the fact that he was not alone in surviving. Yet I have no doubt that the merchant will lead the remainder to their doom. I beg you, find them before he does. Well, what are you doing? Don't draw. Don't draw. Why didn't you run away with me? We could have escaped together, then you would be here with me. Be here to soothe me. Why did you have to stay and leave me alone? Okay, calm down. Who are you? What do you want? It's true. I followed the merchant, and may the gods strike me down for my folly. What they will not give, you must take, he said. When we asked how, he revealed a cache of weapons he had bought and implored us to seize control of our fates. I thought about running then and there, but others were so excited. He split us into two groups and sent us off on our own. But when the flames found us, we didn't know what to do. Our leader tried to parley with theirs, but they started arguing and fighting. And then everyone was fighting, and the flames were shouting to give no quarter. And, oh God, the other group, they're still out there. If we don't stop them, they'll be massacred like mine was. Shock and awe. The terrified refugee would have you find his brethren and convince them to lay down their arms. The other refugees were hiding in caves south of Lost Hope, but to approach them would be fruitless. They would soon have called us agents of the Sultanate and try to kill us than listen to reason. Why the twins might even deign to do the deed themselves. A pox on all the bloody sellswords. They were supposed to train us to fight, but the ones he sent them with us vanished during the struggle. Oh, and if only we had never listened to that merchant's ridiculous claims. He said our cause was righteous and the gods would never suffer us to be defeated. Though, if they were forced to confront reality that is, challenge the twins to combat and show my brethren that their strongest warriors have no match for one woman, mayhap they will agree to lay down their arms and renounce this plot. Okay. Beat someone up in a cave. To get to the cave. Seven hells, they found us. Everyone grab your gear and make for the rendezvous point. So what's your game, is it? No, that's your game, is it? Sorry to disappoint you, lass, but we're more than willing to kill you ourselves. It's not going to end well for you. Anyone else? You beat them like there was nothing. Foul almighty. What are we going to do now? Well... You returned. Did you find my brethren? What of the twins? What happened? I see. Well, you had no choice. Better than a handful of them take a beating from you than they get butchered by the flames. Tell me, what did the merchant have to say when it was over? You weren't there. Huh? But where else would he be? Unless he went with a stone's throw to recruit others. Reap the whirlwind. Terrified with Street would have you find a shady figure who was trying to stir dissent among his brethren. The merchant wished to approach the refugees in stone's throw, but was waiting until the flames withdrew their forces from the vicinity. Now that they have, there's nothing to stop him from continuing his work. How many more must perish in pursuit of this futile cause? How much more suffering must we endure before it ends? Find him, convince him to cease his mad quest. It will surely lead us to ruin. Okay. Go and find this guy and kick him in the balls. Hello. Sniffle. How have you seen my parents? I haven't seen your parents, unfortunately. They told me to stay here with the others. Sniffle. They said they will be back soon, but it's been days. They left with a man from Udar. The man said they were going to change everything, make it so that we could live inside the walls with everyone else. I liked it when he said that. I didn't like it when he talked about making the rich people pay. Everyone looked so angry and I got scared. Say, miss, are you looking for someone? I'm looking for the merchant. You mean the man who left with my parents? I don't know where he is. Wait, look. Over there. I think that's him. Well, well. Which of these gullible fools shall be my next victim? I. He's getting away. Go get him, miss. You again. Why are you pursuing me? Because you've been fucking telling lies, mate. Sedition, treason, revolution. That's preposterous. Who has filled your head with these lies? Refugees, the self-same refugees who terrorised the streets of Ruda? Ha! You have no evidence to prove your accusations. None. Well, I've got the kid who said he knows you. No, I will not accompany you to the halls of the flames. You have no right to detain me. Well, I bet, for the sake of argument, let's say I did do the things you claim. Surely you think that I don't. Surely you don't think I give a Quarian's arse about politics. It's business, only business. Look, man, don't let me kick you in the balls. We both know that I'm not the one you want. However, if you agree to protect me, I swear I shall tell you everything. Very well. Damn good shot. What's all this commotion? 7 hells. Tell the others to spread out and search the area. The killer may still be close. Hold adventurer and would know more about your relationship with the victim, as well as the events leading up to his death. Well, I was doing an investigation. This man responsible for the recent riots mayhap we owed his murder a debt of gratitude. In any case, it is obvious that you are not the one who we seek. You may carry on with your investigation, son. Damn good shot from over there. I want his soul. I want his bow. Yeah, tired I am. How's your hunt going? Good luck. Good luck. What news, Mino? Where is the merchant? Dead. Murdered. damn it all into the seventh hell. He was not simply murdered, man, he was silenced. Too many knew of his face and he was ready to divulge his secrets. Do not despair though, you may be closer to identifying the true orchestrator of his rights than you realise. Revolution. Swift has a message for you from General Ramuh. Flame General left word that you were to proceed to the fragrant chamber as soon as you returned. He wishes you to discuss your recent discoveries as well as the results of our own investigation. Master Alpha has already been informed and should be waiting for you outside. Pray proceed to the Royal Promenade and we will hasten to speak with Bartholomew. Speak with Bart. We have been expecting you, madam. Please proceed inside.
Commander Swift has kept us apprised of your recent activities. You've made great strides towards quelling the violence.
Despite our best efforts to determine what provoked this uprising, the truth continues to elude us. Have you uncovered aught which might shed some light on the mystery?
This information does not leave this room. The Syndicate's decision to reject the Doman refugees' appeal for asylum had lasting repercussions. A number of those displaced by the calamity claimed it was proof of a policy of discrimination. Together with a group of Alamegan refugees, they organized a series of demonstrations to protest against the Sultanate. Demonstrations which became heated, but did not descend into violence. Until a certain incident served as a call to arms.
A unit of brass blades sent to supervise a demonstration loosed arrows upon unarmed protesters. It was this atrocity which prompted the refugees to take up arms. I need not tell you what followed.
We assumed at first that the attack was born of a miscommunication. When emotions run high, they happen. But suspicions were raised regarding the unit's commanding officer, whom I ordered interrogated. Sure enough, our fears were soon confirmed. The dog confessed that a merchant had offered him coin to give the order. A merchant in the employ of Teleji Adeleji.
Teleji Adeleji? But he spoke in favor of the Doman's cause, and has ever seemed sympathetic towards the refugees' plight. Why would he do such a thing?
Know you of the Cartano Reclamation Bill? It is a proposal to annex the Cartano Flats so that refugees may establish permanent settlements.
When last I looked, that was disputed territory.
Aye. Some might even call it a battlefield. The destruction wrought by Bahamut was greatest at the Cartano Flats. That much is common knowledge. What is less well known is that his rampage laid bare ancient Alagon ruins, of which no record existed. There are certain differences of opinion as to how these ruins should be handled, which is why each nation maintains a military presence in the region to this day. Yet differ though we may, we are still allies. Therefore, in the interest of preserving the Eorzean alliance, we have reached an agreement. Any conflict which may arise during the course of military exercises in the region shall have no bearing on relations between our nations.
How the hell do you manage to do that? So, what you're saying, General, is that the soldiers inside the Cartonu flats can have their own private little war with each other, while you and the other nations of Eorzea just sit back and just chillax and say, well, hey, it's just boys being boys. That's a stupid idea.
In full knowledge of this delicate state of affairs, Teleji Adeleji proposed the Cartonu Reclamation Bill. A shameless bloody ruse which stands to benefit him in but one conceivable way. If successful, he will gain control over the disputed territory under the guise of assisting in the resettlement effort. And you can be sure he'll build an orphanage next to every Allagan ruin.
The man would threaten the unity of the Eorzean alliance and risk countless lives for personal gain.
He walks a path all his own, independent of any faction and beholden to none of his fellows on the Syndicate.
By inciting the less fortunate to violence, he hopes to convince others that the Cartonu Reclamation Bill is the only viable solution. His sympathy for the plight of the Domans was not but posturing to gain credibility with the refugees. Of that there can be no doubt.
Forgive me, but what could possibly motivate Teleji Adeleji to go to such lengths? What is so special about these ruins that he would risk his position on the Syndicate, and, most likely, charges of treason against the Sultanate?
Omega.
Pardon?
An Allagan monstrosity, not unlike the Ultima weapon. Mayhap larger, we know not. It has yet to be fully excavated. Allagan inscriptions indicate that it was created to fell Bahamut himself. If accurate, it might explain why Nail Van Darnus chose to bring the Red Moon down upon the Cartonu Flats. Given the ends he went to ensure Eorzea's annihilation, destroying the one weapon which could stay the Elder Primal may well have seemed like good sense.
When first I bore witness to the power of the Ultima weapon, I doubted the evidence of my senses. And now you tell me there is another such weapon. One which could contend with Bahamut. Bahamut!
Bahamut.
Aye, we were skeptical ourselves. Truth be told, until the Ultima weapon's existence came to light, we thought the inscription had been mistranslated.
At present, Omega is more akin to a fossil than a tool of war, having long since ceased to function. As such, its true potential cannot accurately be gauged. However, if someone were to restore it, as the Garleans did the Ultima weapon, I have little doubt that he would wield untold power.
Power enough to subjugate Uldar like as not, and the rest of Eorzea besides, which is doubtless why Teleji Adeleji yearns to have it.
That he should aspire to world domination. He who has ever walked 2 paces behind Lord Lolorito in matters of commerce.
'Tis in acknowledgement of his own limitations that he seeks this power. Woe betide us all should we allow him to have it.
Pray waste no time chasing rats. Only a fool would believe that secrets can be kept in Uldar.
It would seem the implications of the Sultanate's refugee problem are rather more far-reaching than we assumed.
Stories we tell. Recent revelations weigh heavily on Alpha Node's mind. I should be glad to know the truth, and yet the thought of all this chaos was the product of one man's lust for power sickens me. How long do you think they intended to hide the existence of Omega from the Scions? And they even felt that the need to do so was most troubling. It would be in our best interest to learn more of the military activities in the disputed territories. Fortunately, you are already well positioned to do so, Lieutenant Archaea. Pray keep us informed of any developments in Cartona. Be gone, whelp. This is no place for children. Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking for you, miss. You said you were looking for the man who left with my parents. You know this girl? I was looking during an investigation, something that doesn't concern you. So he visited Stone's Throw as well. Let's see. Did you find this man? Did you find the man? My parents were with him. They were not, I'm afraid. However, I think there were several places they might be. If you like, we can go and look for them together. Really? You'll help me look, mister? Of course, but first we must need to finish speaking with my friend. She's telling me a secret, you see. No one else is allowed to listen. Maybe you could wait for me in the pillar over there. We'll require but a moment. Okay, mister, I'll be waiting. I'll take her to the quicksand. Mayhap Mamundi would know what to do. A legion of guardians, an ether staffed primal. Even dealing with an Ascian would be more preferable to this charade. Sometimes I fear Mephilia is too ambitious. We rush to hither and yon on the responses to threats as they arise, without concern for staying strange places on our limited resources and ourselves. Mayhap the time has come for a change. Mino, this is Mephilia. I know this is sudden, but I must ask you to return to Revenant's Toll with all due haste. The situation at Twicewood has taken a turn for the worst, and I'll explain in detail once you arrive. Let's go to the Twicewood. Something about a big man with a beard. Twicewood, and the primal threat she speaks of could be confirmed. There are no reports of Ixal activity, which leaves the Simps. Go, Mino. You know as well as I that the appearance of a primal takes precedence over all else. And when you arrive, do inform the Acadent, and while I am grateful for her concern, she needn't fear for my safety. I am more than capable of protecting myself. Okay, nothing happened there. To Revenant's Toll. Okay. What shit have you got me into now? Thank you, but here's Toba. It is a relief to see you healthy and hale, Mino. The latest news from Udai is most disturbing. There's more shit going on than you know about, Mephilia. Clearly, the only injury Alphino suffered was to his ego. Doubtless it will be heal ere long. The other Scions will need to be present for this meeting. If you are ready to begin, I will summon them now. Okay, the Lord of Lebanon. Ophelia wishes to discuss the latest threats to arise in the Black Shroud. Nice. Nice. I'm done. Thank you for responding to my call with such haste. That's okay. Well done. Rest assured, I should not have summoned you while you were not urgent. To the business, then. I have received some most disturbing news from the Order of the Twin Adder. They have reason to believe that the Scions have called forth their reverend guardian, the primal Ramuh. I'm sorry, may have? Then it's not certain. The elder seer informs us that the elements themselves murmur of the Lord of Lebanon's return to the forest. Siflands, however, display no signs of undue commotion. Forgive me, Accident, but the fact is not contrary to the elemental's testimony. Unlike his more bellicose compares, Garuda and so on, Ramuh is reputed to act only in the defense of his children. I imagine he would not soon make his presence known if any were foolish enough to directly endanger the Scions or their territory. The abruptness of this development concerns me. Were we not keeping a close watch on the touched ones and their movements? If preparations for a summoning ritual were indeed underway, it would surely have not escaped your notice. It didn't. I was pretty sure it was going to happen, just not this soon. I beg your pardon, you foresaw this eventuality and didn't naught to prevent it? I told Papa Nemo. I suppose I could have reported things to Ophelia earlier, but there wasn't much we could do except wait and see. You know how the Scions feel about people poking around in their territory. They already summoned the Ramuh once to fight right after the calamity, but it was because the Guardians were trampling through the forest. So as long as the Castian Moorland stands, the Scions cannot be blamed for wishing to have their guardian deity on hand. In short, Yida and I were in agreement. The actions of the forest folk were inevitable and unavoidable. And I maintain that the observation would have remained the best policy, but if it had not been for the sudden influx of strangers into the Black Shroud, that, alas, we did not foresee. By all accounts, the recent violence in Udar drove a number of refugees to seek safety under the concealing canopy of the trees. 'Tis like the Scions perceived the panic in migration as yet another invasion, quickened their efforts to summon their god. I am to put in the mind of Titan and the kobolds. Once again, it is affairs of men have paved the way for a primal's coming. Indeed, one cannot help but wonder what manner of the place Eorzea would be without civilizing influence of mankind. Be that as it may, this regrettable development does afford us a unique opportunity. Mino, without your dealings with the Scions of little solace. Though through your dealings with you once succeeded in preventing an untimely conflict with Garuda, I wonder, might one who has treated with the Scions so fruitfully in the past have not achieved similar access to their patron deity? If Ramuh can be convinced of our intentions, he may be the first step in breaking the cycle of primal summoning. A fond hope, but much a thing possible. Were such a thing possible, we would not have been at war with the beastmen since time immemorial. But maybe this time we can. Let us continue this discussion, and we must needs first consult with the nations most affected by Ramuh's presence. The elder seer has requested your personal involvement, Mino. Pray to report to Commander Hulux in the Adder's Nest as soon as you are able. Steel yourself for the worst. Why, I hoped for a peaceful resolution to this matter. Experience suggests that your meeting with the Lord of Lebanon will prove less than amicable. In such an event, your fellow Scions will, of course, lend you whatever support you require. The fuck they will. They're pissing useless, they won't help. What's this? Racing. Acceptable behaviour. Okay. Commander Vossal Hulix. Me again. Minor the signings. Your arrival was most anticipated. The appearance of the primal was ever a cause of alarm and unease. Though my men are ready for any eventuality, I know of none more qualified than to snuff out this threat. Indeed, I would have you do so without delay. The elder seer, however, will speak with you first. She is of the opinion that your diplomatic rather than martial skills may be better served by calls. Okie dokie. Welcome back. I will leave further explanation to our learned leader. Pray make your way to the Porticus altar. The conjurer in attendance will meet you to the lotus stand. Yay! Gonna meet the elder seer again. Gonna meet the elder seer, or as best to describe, probably the most powerful mage in all of Eorzea, who does bugger all. Just sits in a little lotus stand doing bugger all. Your signs have arrived, madam. May I show you? Yes. And there she is, the old seer. El Canisena.
Scions of the 7th Dawn, on behalf of the people of Gridania, I bid you welcome. Your presence is of great comfort to us all in these days of uncertainty. I summoned you here to share tidings of a most urgent nature. But a short while ago, the great elemental spoke, and his voice was clarion in its intensity. Ramuh is returned unto the forest. Scarce had his words ceased to echo in mine ears when we were visited by an emissary from Little Solace. Our guest informs us that the sylphs too have sensed the presence of the Lord of Levin. Though his exact whereabouts remain unknown, we may safely assume that the primal was summoned within the heart of the Sylphlands. Unlike the other primals you have encountered, Lord Ramuh is no raging avatar of destruction. He is revered as much for his wisdom as his strength, serving as both arbiter and guardian to his children. Given that we and the Sylphs found a way to share the 12's wood, it is my hope that this sagely immortal will be amenable to reason, and that conflict may be avoided. Blessed as you are with the power of the echo, you are one of the few among us who may commune with a primal without fear of influence. I would ask, therefore, that you represent us in this most delicate of negotiations. The 12's wood has suffered enough. Upon this, we and the Sylphs, and I would venture Lord Ramuh himself, are in perfect accord. Let us not endanger our shared home by engaging in unnecessary hostilities. Dear friend, I beseech you, safeguard the peace which exists between our peoples.
Of course.
You have my thanks. Pray make for little solace, then. A member of the Order of the Twin Adder awaits you there. He will advise you on how to find the Lord of Levin. An ill wind blows through the forest. Yet, it is not only the Twelveswood that flinches at its coming. All the lands of Eorzea shiver in dread anticipation. Have care.
Mino of the Scions, I was told to expect you. I understand you go to treat with the primal Ramuh himself. An unendable task, but for one which I have no which I have no doubt you are well suited. I have been told by your fellow Scions you are conducting an investigation in the area as we speak. You might ascertain the location of all the Levin and the light be found. I would ask that you abide here until they return with their findings. Leveling an impression. Serpent Lieutenant looks about, seemingly waiting a visitor. Me. I was told that a messenger would be sent as soon as your fellow Scions finish their investigations. I don't imagine it will be much longer. This one returns, and returns with good tidings. Wise ones have finished searching. They have wisely identified the precise location where the touched one summoned Lord Ramuh. Your timing is impeccable, my fluttery friend. Might be you so kind as to escort this good woman to her fellow Scions? It would be this one's pleasure, walking one. Please, please come with this one. Wise ones have ventured deep within the Sylphlands. These ones must proceed carefully and keep an eye out for touched ones. That ain't gonna do fuck all to me. This one's most sorry, but this one can go no further. Draw too close to Lord Ramuh and this one may turn in nasty, like touched ones. So this one must say farewell for now. Walking one will find wise ones not far from here, to the south. Go in safety, walking one. Okay, who you lot found? So it is actually you. I am relieved. For a moment I thought we were dealing with one of them founded silk tricksters. I swear, with them wreaking havoc with their skin-changing magics, it's a wonder I was able to finish without taking my measurements. Yes, it was quite an ordeal. You should have seen the look on the child's face when one of the impersonating you suddenly showed up. That's quite enough, Pamperina. My apologies. It's not like me to be ramble, so. At any rate, as I was saying, I finished measuring the activity in the area, and I am pleased to say I have reached an indisputable conclusion, to wit, that Ramuh was called forth in the vicinity of the 7th Aetheryte. Come, Mino, the Lord of Lebanon awaits.
Betrays thee, servant of hiding. Thou art the bringer of light, bane of Ifrit, Titan, Garuda, and Leviathan. I am Ramuh, guardian of the children of the forest.
And the wielder of one impressive beard.
Thou tramplest upon sacred soil, bringer of light. By what right doth man intrude in this sanctuary of the sylphs? The Gridanians proffer peace? Their words are born of delusion, thine offer an insult. Thou speakest of harmony, yet carest not for my children's desires. They did but wish to dwell beneath these boughs in solitude. Yet even that was too much to ask of man. Thus did they turn to me for succor. The sentence I pronounce upon thy kind is just. Redanian or Garlean, it matters not. The good intent of one excuseth not the misdeeds of the other. Thy conflict have brought naught but anguish and misery unto the forest. All blame doth lie with the darkness that resideth in the breast of man. Whence sprung this calamitous seed? In the beginning no such duality existed. Were light and dark given form when man was born? It would explain much. Not least why strife and sorrow follow ever in thy wake. Thou canst not deny the urgings of thine own nature. Knowing that thy mere presence here portendeth tragedy, wilt thou persist in this pretense of peacemaking? Thou bearest the crystal which I bestowed upon my wayward charges. That they should entrust so precious a gift to thee. Thou standest apart from thy kin. Thou art the bringer of light, aye. But there is something more in thee. Very well. I shall consider thy proposal. Shouldst thou survive my trial. If thou wouldst champion the cause of harmony,
I must have proof that thou art fit to play the role. Wither mine ire, and prove to me thereby that thou hast strength enough to stay the darkness which threateneth to consume thee. Yet if thou shouldst be found wanting, know that all men shall perish in the storm of my judgment. Come to me, bringer of light. I shall await thee on the field of battle.
Eorzea, it is rare indeed to find you so far from a tome.
The Lord of Levin himself. Never till this day had I looked upon his visage, save in painted renderings made faint by time. Ever shall this scene remain etched in my mind's eye. Beg pardon, my lady. I must beg thine aid on a point of research. If thou art resolved to face Lord Ramuh, I would ask thy leave to observe the event.
Okie dokie. Right. Trials. Yeah. Striking tree hard. Oh, shitballs. I don't want to do that. You're going to punch me, aren't you? Ah, shit. Bullets. That was my provoke. got to uncheck the hull breaker arm. Got to it. sake. Get off the fucking map. Off the map! I hate this boss so much. Don't break it. Don't break it. Let me break it. Right, let's do that again, shall we? Right, dungeons, turn that fucking thing off. Spends far too much time on this game queuing. Okie dokie. See you later. Bye. Well, it is about that. I was drinking a cup of tea. Where are we going? An hour and a half. Still plenty of time. Hopefully this pops. So about the waiting. Right, I'm lost. Jesus Christ. Ramuh. somebody gets terrored, then you need to off them. Welcome in. Away from oops.
I have taken thy measure, bringer of light. And I judge thee a worthy champion. The task of excising the sin that hath taken root in man's heart is thine. Shrink not from employing thy strength in service to the forest and the wider realm beyond. Like hungering shadows do the enemies of harmony gather, and meekness will but feed them. If man is to be delivered from the dark, it shall be by thy guiding light alone. Stray not from the path, for if thou dost, thy people shall be truly lost.
Thou hast slain the Lord of Levin. A regrettable act, but a necessary one. In witnessing thy struggle, a truth hath been revealed unto me. If I mistake not, it may yet prove a chink in the eternal armor of the Scions. But let us conclude our present business. I shall expound upon my findings at the Rising Stones anon.
Right. Let's speak with the lieutenant. And then include the first half of the defenders of Eorzea. Mino, you have returned. Dare I ask how Ramuh received your visit? Well, he didn't exactly come with peace. He challenged you to a test of arms. It is well then that you have some experience in such matters. People of both Gridania and Little Solace will be relieved to hear that the Lord of Levin has accepted you as the forest champion of peace. You have performed a monumental duty this day, Mino. The older Seer must be informed of your deed at once. What little gods are made of, the Serpent Lieutenant is ready to send you on your way. The elder Seed Seer will wish to hear from your experiences firsthand. Pray return to Gridania and make directly for the Lotus Stand. The conjurer at the Nathotika's altar will be expecting you. Farewell. Fare you well, Mino. Welcome back, honoured Scion. We who knew of your mission have been most anxious to see you return. The old Seed Seer awaits you within. Everyone's just pissing down in Gridania, but here it's lovely and sunny. Okay. Can you send it?
You are returned to us, dear friend, and none the worse for bearing the heavy burden which I did press upon you. Most glad am I of this. I am informed that your efforts to negotiate a peace with Lord Ramuh ended in conflict. Pray tell me, what befell?
Well, you see, he didn't like you very much, and he was going to murder every human, so everyone of man, and I had to challenge him to a fight. And I beat him.
Ramuh made trial of you?
Well, better made trial of me than you.
I fear there is truth to his claim. It is the darkness within us that attracts the darkness without. It cannot be denied that misfortune follows man. For evidence, one need only look to the conflict brewing in Cartano, or to the rising flood of refugees. Our shared struggle against the Empire should have served to seal our union. Yet the ties which bind the Alliance strain under the weight of gross self-interest. As the scars of the calamity begin to fade, so too does our sense of common purpose. Yet now is scarce the time to forget our shared responsibility. If this new-sprung realm is to survive beyond its infancy, it must needs be nurtured by all. Eorzea must be as one, yet I fear that dream is still far off. On behalf of the people of Gridania and the elementals both, I thank you for all that you and your fellow Scions have done. Full oft have I been compelled to look to you for aid of late, and offered all too little in return. As leader of this nation, I shall endeavor to prove a more worthy ally to your cause henceforth. Lord Ramuh has departed, yet the keening of this ill wind grows no less insistent. Voices of the forest, pray speak and I shall listen. What unseen evil begets this unease in my heart?
Probably no. Thus ends another daunting mission, eh, Mino? You're gonna give it bugger all. I hope Lord Ramuh could be persuaded with words alone, but nevertheless, I can only admire the doggedness of which you responded to these primal sudden change. It seems Eorzea too was pleased with the outcome. What say you, Mino? Shall we gather back at the rising stones and ponder the lessons of the day? Lessons of the day, eh? Lessons of the day. Well, you come to know that the Scions are all bloody useless. Welcome back, Mino. Word of your momentous encounter with Lord Ramuh precedes you. I shall fain share news of my own, but original discoveries must take precedence. Upon witnessing your defeat of Lord Levenin, our learned companion was struck with a profound insight regarding the nature of the Scions' immortality. Let us assemble and discuss his observations together.
If everyone is ready, let us begin. Eorzea, the floor is yours.
As all here assembled now know, in its final hours as our Order's headquarters, the waking sands did play host to a most unexpected visitor. I speak of the Ascian clad in white, Elidibus. Unwelcome though his presence was, his words that day did serve to confirm a truth long suspected, that the Scions are eternal beings, to whom physical destruction is as a temporary inconvenience.
In the intervening time, Eorzea and I have striven to discover a means by which the Scions might more permanently be slain.
And 'tis my belief that we have found the thread that will allow us to unravel the twisted skein of their existence. In the moments prior to Leviathan's most recent manifestation, the Sahagin elder who summoned him was observed to undergo some manner of ascension. The etheric readings taken by Y'shtola at the time of this transfiguration have proven most enlightening.
The disruption to the flow of ether was sudden and dramatic. So tangible was the agitation, I scarce had need of my goggles.
The significance of Y'shtola's readings might better be understood in the context of mine own, taken at the instant of the Lord of Levin's demise. Unlike the primal, the Sahagin was not subject to etheric dissipation.
Before discussing our new discoveries, it may benefit us all to recall what we know of etheric behavior. Let us begin at what some might call the end. When we who dwell in the material realm die, our spirits dissolve into the flow of ether and are returned to the ethereal realm. In turn, the restless energy which suffuses that plane streams back into our world, giving rise to new life.
"'Tis as the heavens did decree, the way of all mortal souls. Twixt this world and the next do the ethereal currents swirl, bearing the very essence of life. Thus doth the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth continue unabated."
Primals behave somewhat differently. In order to manifest and then maintain a physical presence in this realm, they must consume vast quantities of ether, most often in the form of crystals. Though they may seem to live, their flesh is but ether given shape. Thus, a defeated primal leaves behind no broken corpse. Rather, the essence of its form seeps back into the land whence it came, and the energy of its shattered spirit is called back to the ethereal realm.
And there it waiteth, till next the prayers of the faithful do draw it forth from the sea of ether, to take their offering of crystals and make for itself a new body.
Which brings us on to the third group, the so-called immortals. They exist in a manner all their own.
Quite. Even as the Sahagin elder fell to the Admiral's musket shot, I witnessed the release of an ethereal cloud, which immediately took possession of a nearby minion.
A soul that dissipateth not upon the death of the flesh.
The secret of life everlasting, and in the claws of a Sahagin no less. But I wonder, what would happen to one of these obstinate spirits should there be no suitable host for it to claim?
If mortal death entails a return to the ethereal realm, it seems doubtful that the soul of an immortal would venture there.
Nay, it merely withdraweth a distance, unto the shore of the ethereal sea, perchance, but no further.
Yes, it exists in neither this realm nor the next, abiding instead in the space that lies between them. The Scions took control of Thancred by means of a crystal of darkness, an artifact which, if our theories are correct, serves as a gateway to the place I have just described.
I was hoping people had forgotten about that.
I am sorry, my friend.
For a mercy, the weary road of our research hath brought us unto an answer.
The Sahagin ascended to an immortal state, but he did not possess a crystal of darkness through which to flee this realm. Thus was he consumed by Leviathan. If we could entrap the spirits of defeated Scions in like manner, and thereby deny them resurrection...
Therein lieth the path to victory. Thou art most perceptive, my lady. Only when we have trapped the bodiless soul within an ethereal prison can we hope to defeat its unnatural constancy. Thus might even an eternal paragon be consigned to oblivion.
These feats are, of course, far easier said than done. At present, we lack a viable means to entrap and extinguish an Scion soul. Yet, I believe it to be possible. The pieces of the puzzle lie before us. We have but to put them together.
I will depart at once to convene with the sages of Sharlayan. Together shall we divine the steps by which our goals may be achieved.
I have the utmost faith in you, Archon.
Beg pardon, antecedent, but I would raise one final matter. Even now, a Sharlayan survey party seeketh to ascertain the fate of the students of Baldessian. Their findings shall soon be known to us. Though you harbor feelings of dread, I bid you surrender not to sorrow, but abide instead in hopeful prayer.
I shall, Archon. Thank you.
Lord of Levin is returned to the ether, as was Leviathan before him. Ramuh acquaintance was most intriguing. Inferno, Vortex, Crag, War, and Leveling all have now been humbled by the bringer of light. The limitless potential of man, Heidelin's servant, grows mightier by the day. Yet she prospers at great cost to her mistress, whose strength is all too finite. 7 times as the masses survive the rejoining, but their souls are gone weak and weak. Yet, as it is Excavus, the Andor empowers our master. All that remains is to nurture the strength of the gifted, to forge the final key. And yet that task of which we bend our every effort. Divine seeds that won't want to quicken in Eorzea's fertile soil. We need only lead men to the field, and by their eager hands shall a new deity arise. That which was shattered shall be made anew, and the one true God shall come again. Okay. Well, Scions applied. This is nothing new. But that is the end of part 34. When we return to part 35, we'll finish off the Defenders of Eorzea. And then we shall move on to the next, which is Dreams of Ice. Which is the reasons why I did the Dragoon story arc. You'll find out more about that. Till then, I'm the Big BH2. Please subscribe, comments are welcome, and appreciate any thumbs up as well. And I will see you in the next part. And until then, bye bye.